Welcome back to Welding with Daddy. Today I am at
Freedom Welding and Fabrication in Winstonville. Hi Eddie, I'm Dave. It's nice to meet you, young lady.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you for the gift. Really cool. And let's move right along. We'll start out in the first door to our left here is my daughter, Alexis.
Nice to meet you.
She started out just like you, not quite as young though. And I'll let her tell you a little bit, and you can ask her any questions you might want to about what she went through to get to where she is today.
My dad's been in this business my whole life, so I've kind of grown up around it. I've always wanted to be like him when I got older, hence the business that I'm in. I started in high school, in tech school, learning how to weld, so my dad finally let me have a job here. I started with sweeping the floors, then went up to material processing, then to fabrication and portable. Now I'm in the office as a project manager and an office manager.
Any questions? No? Oh, okay. Our weld inspector is in here, John. We'll find him later, probably out on the floor. And in fact, after we let you run a couple machines, we'll have him inspect your welds. Okay. Drake's not in there, but Mark's in here. So a lot of jobs come in, and we have to design them so you know what to make. You're the welder fabricator, and how do you know what you're going to make? You either make it up in your head, or somebody gives you a drawing, or you make a drawing. So that's what Mark does.
Hi. What is her name? Abby?
Addie?
Addie, how you doing?
Good.
Yeah, and my name's Mark. A customer will come in and he'll have a sketch. You know, you can be something as crude as that, and then we get our fancy drafting software and we turn it into these things. You can see these are some stairs we're making for some customers right now, and we can zoom in on them and we can spin them around and do all kinds of really fun stuff in 3D. So it's really a lot of fun. If you like drawing, it's the ultimate drawing package. I have a lot of fun here.
Thanks, sir.
You bet.
All right. Head on down the hallway. Either way. This is our IT room. That's where all our computers hook up. This is our lead of our engineering department, Ben.
Right.
Ben, this is Addie.
Hello.
You got anything going cool in here she can look at?
I'm just reviewing a set of railing drawings. We model all the stuff that we build in 3D CAD programs. That way we can make drawings for the guys out in the shop to build off of. So we went out and measured a set of stairs at a residential house and modeled them in here, and then put the rail in so that it fits and meets all the standard requirements of a grab rail.
So if you were building that, what do you think you'd do next?
Not quite sure.
Not sure? Your next step would be, once you get this drawing, is to find your material that matches what's in the drawing, and then you start cutting your parts. What we do here is he will actually make a cut list, and this tells the guys in material processing what to cut, how long, what kind of copes or angles that go on it. They cut all them parts, so all the parts that would make this handrail right here would come to you pre-cut with a drawing, and then from that drawing you would build it. So it tells you where to weld everything and what needs polished and what don't.
Alright.
Okay? Alright, thanks, Dan. This is my office and Mandy's. Mandy's my wife. She handles all things financial. So now we're getting ready to walk out in the shop. As you can see, we have a sign here that, you know, there's always welding arcs. You need to wear the proper safety gear. Steel-toe boots. For tours, leather boots are fine.
They're steel-toe.
Yeah, you're good to go. But did you know that all safety glasses aren't created equal? So if a safety, you can have a clear safety glass that actually has a coating on it to reflect the UVs from the welders, just as you're walking around. And so yours are, I can tell, I know that brand, so I know those are good to go. You know that obviously you don't stare at a welding light, correct? Have you ever had welders burn on your eyes?
Like a couple times because I wasn't expecting it, especially with stick. You just like don't realize that you're about to touch the metal and you do, and
Yeah.
you're like, oh.
Feels like sand in your eyes afterwards. Not fun.
But I look way quick enough that that doesn't happen that often. I'll go to the.
Yeah. Well, if you look away and you weld, or somebody's welding, you can still get flash burn. Just because you're not looking at it doesn't mean you won't get it. That's why everybody has to wear safety glasses when they're around any welding cells in the shop, because you can get flash burn from just standing too near somebody else welding, even looking the other way. And it's no fun. Anyway, let's head out to the shop, see what we got.
Nope, we'll lead you. Go ahead. All right.
That's just all our junk, all our nuts and bolts and little things. These are all dies, some custom dies, and standard dies on this rack for this press brake here. So this is where we bend metal. I'm sure you've seen one of those before. Yeah. That one over there does the same thing. It's just a little bit fancy. You can get somebody to operate. Raw material for a job comes in, stack it in here. Remember I told you about material processing, and the guys will get a list, a cut list. That's what these guys right here do. There's two of them, and they operate the saw and the plasma table, as well as some other machines I'll show you around the corner. So you probably don't use metal quite this big. Okay.
But not as long because my shop is kind of small.
Yeah. It's kind of hard to get one of these big things in there and then move it around too. Looks like they're actually cleaning out the plasma table, so this is like your hand plasma, except for way bigger. And it will cut through 1.5 inch thick plate. Actually, it will cut through 2 inch, but it doesn't like it. So here you can see some stuff that's been cut on that plasma table. See how smooth that line is there?
Yeah.
And there's hardly no curve. That's a high depth plasma. That does real good cutting on thick material. Now on our other shop in Troy, we have lasers and a water jet there. And they build trucks, big box trucks like U-Hauls and stuff like that you see. This is a floor fabrication that we're working on. We have a full-time crew that just builds these floors. This is a fixture right over here that they're put together, and you can see they have the long sills in. These are the long sill channels after they left material processing. They bring them in here. This fixture has multiple locations depending on the job. They look at the drawing, it tells them what position to put each clamp in, and then it tells them what channel to put in. Then there's different widths of these cross sills, and they pull them from either here or outside, and they will space those out according to the drawing. Put side ends on them. After that, they'll use this overhead crane right here to pick this up and then move it over. The next step is we put all this wood decking on it. You see back here. See what else we got. We used to do the rear frames here, but we just recently moved that up to our new location. There's some ones they just picked up from Troy and brought here, so they have to get powder coated. We'll walk around this area. this is? It's an iron worker. What this will do is it'll punch holes in metal, any size you want. It'll also shear plate. So this is the table with here. There's a shear knife in there. See that big blade at the angle there?
Yeah.
So this will take a plate that wide. Say on here. I believe it'll do. I don't want to guess. Oh, here we go. So it will shear a 24-inch wide by 5/8 thick piece of steel, just like a pair of scissors. It cuts it right off. So if you need a lot of pieces, you set a gauge on the back, you push it in, and it just keeps chopping them off. And then we have an angle, a square box, so angle goes in here. Put a piece of angle in there, the same thing. Then you don't have to use the saw, just shears it off. And these are bar shears, so round, square. So that could be a solid piece of steel, that big. You can put it in there and shear it. Wow. Yeah. Yep. Saves a lot of time. Alright. Walk over this way. This is old trusty Rusty. This is our the baby to that. It does the same thing, but just smaller stuff. This is the oldest piece of equipment we own in this shop. We bought brand new when we opened the doors. So it's been in service for 11 years now. This is the plate roller. Have you ever seen? You've seen pipe, right? Have you ever seen what's called sectional pipe?
I don't believe so. Like, I'm not quite sure.
Sure. So sometimes if you'll look at big pipes, they won't just have one weld seam. They'll have weld seams going this way and this way. And usually in big pipe what they do is they take the plate and they roll it in this. And what this will do is take a flat plate and turn it round. So it'll make a cylinder. And in big pipe what they do is they make different pieces and then they stick them all together. So once all those parts are cut, punched, rolled, milled, then they come over here to these guys. These are all jobs that are getting ready to be worked on. They've tacked on plates. We'll have to measure all the holes in these. Once they get that done, they will weld it out. Everything gets inspected. So anytime you do anything here, you tack the part on, John will come and look at it, make sure it's in the right place, give you a thumbs up, and then you weld it. Then after you weld it, he will come back and inspect it to make sure that the weld conforms to whatever process certification. Right here.
I don't think so. Like a brand or like...
Anything this big? Big machine?
Yeah, ironworkers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so if you've been around ironworkers in almost most union shops, I know Alvarezzi's, Bill Self-Fabrication, in them and on job sites, these are the machines that they run. Okay, it's a XMP. It's an inverter welder, which is different than a non-inverter welder. It welds better. If I had two of the machines here, I could actually show you. You can tell the difference on how they weld. And the inverter welder will go up to 400 or 500 megahertz, and your standard welding that most guys have in smaller shops are 60 hertz, and that's it. So it makes a big difference on how they weld. See if I don't let us get it welded. You make a weld like that?
Matters on like what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I just have to practice something.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah.
You want to practice and try it?
Yeah, like once.
Scott,
kinda
this is
hot.
Addie. Addie, this is Scott.
Hello, Addie.
You ready? All right.
So, well, right.
Yeah, you can go anywhere. Just go right there. Feel good at the whole music. Right there. There you go.
Fine job. Single pass.
No stopping or nothing.
No stopping. You know how hard it is to get guys to do that? They want to stop 3 or 4 times.
Usually sometimes my finger like loosens and then I stop.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, sometimes you have to. So one trick I'll tell you if you haven't learned it already is when you're welding a long joint, what you want to do is start out where you're going to end, and you're going to weld from uncomfortable to comfortable. Most people will start out here and then it gets uncomfortable and their welds get messed up. You can either slide, then you usually don't get uncomfortable, but if it's a pass it's going to be like this, I would start out in an uncomfortable way, and then as I get down here it's more and more comfortable, so at the very end it's easy. And that's something you'll use, and once you figure that out you'll like it. It'll help you on long welds. Alright, well, let's give Scott his machine back so he can go back to work. Okay, you made a weld, now let's go see what the weld inspector says. This is John, he's our certified weld inspector. He goes through and inspects all the welds. And then, so we're going to have him look at your weld. You do this? Okay. Start to finish, no stopping. Yes, I ain't bad at all. Last thing I want to do right now is touch that. That's not bad at all. That's what your second time around the shaft, isn't it? Yeah. And it was my first time. Was good too. Yeah. Not bad, huh? This is the shop boss. He's in charge of everybody out here. Except for me. I just tell people what to do. But he can only tell people what to do because he knows what needs to be done. He's got a few years experience. He's traveled the world, literally. He actually worked on the, what is it, World Trade One, or what's it called?
Freedom Tower, yeah.
The Freedom Tower. He actually built
The top 60 feet.
So, that's pretty cool. Did you find your light?
Yep.
So go ahead and tell her what,
The process.
what you're doing, why you're doing it, and then what you see that she can work on. Mind you, first, only the second time she's used a gas welder. She's always flux quarter stick weld. So, push it, and TIG. But made that in one pass. Now she didn't play with it. Just adjust it off from what you got there.
Perfect. So, first thing I would do is find out what we're trying to do. So, this is a fillet weld like it is, we'd want to know what size we're actually making it. So let's say that this is a 1/4 inch fillet. I would find my gauge here. You ever seen these?
Not like that.
Something similar? No, you're thinking of like a metal thickness gauge. That measures the weld. So this measures the leg of the weld. So this is your toe here, and the length from the base material up, that's going to be the leg length. So I just have a 5/16 now. I'm going to take this, and it's got to meet up with that, make sure it's good. Then you check it the other direction, like that. And then if it's good as far as the size, then you get my flashlight out, and you'll take a look, and you go up and down at different angles, and you can see different things. Sometimes you gotta so you can start to see the shadows there. So all in all, I'd say that's a good weld. Good job. Yep. Then I'd take my little green ribbon and I'd wrap it up, and it'd go on to the next step. Any questions? Okay.
Yeah, all right. How about back here? I'm back here. And that. What's all these pieces of pipe? So actually, all the stuff you see these guys welding on, Scott's welding on and stuff, that was all raw material. Like this came in, got cut. Went through the whole process of fitting it up and welding it. Inspect it. And after that, comes out here and they prime it. So all this, and they've been making loads, I think every day for about a week now. This is for a real big structural project. That's all part of the job that they're working on in there. Now this is some stuff that we did at our Troy location. Aluminum. This is all TIG welded. TIG welded just like that. Not yet?
No.
Lots of practice. The key to being a good welder is having your hood down, pulling the trigger, or stepping on the pedal, or loading the rod. That's the only way you get good. You can't go to school. The only way to do it is to have your hood down.
Practice.
Practice, 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 practice.
Okay.
SAK. SAK is one of our customers, which is they do big bore tunneling. So for like infrastructure or power or water or underground rail system, subways, that kind of stuff, that's what they do. They dig a huge hole, set a machine down in there that looks like a worm, big round cutting head on it, and it cuts through all the ground, the dirt and rock and stuff. So one of the things they have to do is they'll go 200, 300 feet deep sometimes, is they have to ventilate that, because otherwise there's no oxygen, you're dying. So what they do is they use these huge stainless tubes, and they bore up smaller holes, and they drop these pipes in. Well, as they're dropping these pipes in, they have to weld them together, because you're going to go 100 plus feet. They don't make a piece of pipe that long, right? So that's what we do. We go out, and they supply the cranes and all the material, and I send 2 guys out, an inspector and a welder, and he welds that pipe, sections the pipe, and as they drop them down, they stack another one on there, he welds that. Sometimes we have to go all the way down into the bottom, and when they do have to do that, we'll unstrap that whole unit, they'll pick it up with a crane, and they'll lower it all the way down in the bottom of the pit and weld underground. Does that sound like fun? Does that sound like fun to go that deep in the ground? It's like a real deep. Real deep. Eddie. This is what we have here. Like I said, at our other location, we have some more equipment, but pretty much right now what you see is mostly structural stuff that we're working on. All this custom fabrication. There's some really neat stuff we're working on at our Troy location. But at the end of the day, it's all welding. Whether it's aluminum or stainless or structural steel or handrails, dog kennels. We make custom dog kennels. We do metal art too, kind of like you, except for we cheat and we just program a computer for a week and that's it all out. Oh, here you go. He's going to do some front brake work. Doesn't look like it's hardly even bedded, does it? It's called bump braking. So you're going to make a radius. You like computers? That's a lot of what they have to learn how to do is that kind of computer programs. It tells them how much to dev. So it knows how far to push down. You just have to make sure it's lined up on the mark. Very tedious. Everyone has to be the same. That's why he'll make a bend on this side, make the same bend on the opposite side. Reset, keep going. From a rectangle to a round funnel, basically. All right.
What does a fabrication shop do?
Fabrication shop builds everything that you see that is welded together. Pretty much could be handrails. Real quick. Yeah.
What weld process do you use?
We use pretty much most weld processes. We do stick welding generally only in the field. We do MIG. We do, in MIG, we'll do dual shield or metal core, which uses a hollow wire and a shielding gas on the outside. And we do TIG welding. We also, we don't laser weld at this point, but that's something we're hoping to get into in the near future for process piping.
Alright. How important is math in your everyday work?
I would say that if you don't know at least basic math well, this is not the trade for you to be in.
Is there a high need of fabrication shops?
I think there's plenty of fabrication shops out there. What our shop would be considered as a job shop. So we'll do small jobs, big jobs, manufacturing, and everything in between. And there's a lot of small shops you'll find that usually don't do all the processes or have all the equipment.
Alright. What type of metal do you use?
We use any metal that our customers require. The most common would be A36 steel, but then we use chrome moly for race car stick parts. We use high abrasive materials like AR400 and AR500. We use stainless steel, aluminum. We also do titanium. So pretty much anything under the sun we can handle.
Alright. Do you have to be skilled to work at a fabrication shop? If so, what do you need to know?
I wouldn't necessarily say you have to be skilled, because there are positions in a fab shop that don't require much skill and they can be trained. To be a welder fabricator, just lots of years of experience in different parts of the field. What was the second part of that?
If so, what do you need to know?
Okay. Well, like the question you asked me, math is very important. Understanding math and equations, fractions and decimals, because that's going to come up a lot. You have to have a knowledge of welding symbols, welding processes and procedures, and a basic working knowledge of how things work. What we like to say is you have to be mechanically inclined, I think, to succeed.
Alright. What made you interested in getting into this kind of work?
Well, it started out as a hobby, building custom cars in a custom shop. I did that for 15 years and had to do a lot of welding. Trained myself how to do that, and just led to this. That was 40-something years ago, maybe longer than that.
How long have you been doing this kind of work?
I have been running fab shops for the last 20 years. And prior to that, I worked in different shops. So, like I said, I was, oh my goodness, since probably I actually started out on the road in 1980, and I traveled around with the company putting up canopies over truck stops. So I traveled all over the country, and we did the same thing everywhere we went. Whether it be, we did 7-Elevens in most little towns in the Midwest, and then we started doing truck stops and big canopies. So I would say, if you did the math from 1980 to today, that's how long I've been doing it.
Alright. What was the most challenging job you've done?
Probably welding on cell towers. They're very picky, a lot of certifications, a lot of third-party inspections, and you have to be very skilled. Sometimes you're welding, well, you're always out in the open, and so there's a lot of wind to contend with. And as you know, when you're welding, wind likes to rob your shielding gases. And sometimes it's not feasible to stick weld when we're welding large weldments. It just takes too long. And so we've developed processes back then to be able to weld with MIGs, just like you see in our shop, out in the field. There's ways around that. So it was cell towers.
What is your favorite Disney movie?
That's a good question. Probably Moana.
Mine is Cinderella.
Huh.
Because of how, like, she has to go through, like, a lot to, like, become a princess.
Mm-hmm.
And have to keep a secret from her stepmom
Ah.
and sisters.
Awesome. They brought some samples back here, so.
I do believe I have my business cards too.
Awesome.
There you go, my dear.
There's one of
I'll
mine.
take one. Thank you so
There
much.
you get one too.
Cool.
Yeah, I guess I forgot to show you this. This is some samples that we made up just
Some
to,
TIG welding too.
these are MIG welds. This has been clear coated, but this can be a test sometimes where there's a drawing that goes with this, and so if you were coming in and say, hey, I want to get a job here, I would say, okay, well, you have to take a weld test. And we don't do like a lot of places do, because just welding a coupon in a certain position doesn't really show skill. It just shows that you trained to do that one weld. So what we like to do is give them something like this that requires measuring and using tools
And thinking.
and thinking through it, and then cosmetically finishing a part.
Some TIG welding. There, let's TIG welding there.
Here's some TIG weld samples right here.
Oh, wow.
What do you think about that?
They are, the people that have done it is really, like, capable of doing it.
Uh-huh.
Very talented.
Yeah.
Jake's been with us for 10 years. That's who did that? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and he's been doing this for,
Gosh. He started working for you probably when he was 16 or 17.
so, yep.
Long time.
Long time. That's a lot of hood time. Put your hood down and go. Push the limits.
And I don't know any of this stuff.
No, that's
So
just,
you could see it. I don't know what this one's for.
it's just metal types. That's a MIG welded joint.
Oh, wow.
So that's the kind of stuff you can do, just practice.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at like these welds here on this one, how it looks pretty much the same all the way around. That's the kind of stuff that people are looking for the quality. So practice, 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 just like you're doing as much time as you can. Put your hood down and weld stuff. That's what you want to do.
I would like to say thank you to Freedom Welding for giving me the tour. They showed me amazing things, like the ironworker. That's my most favorite thing that I saw there. And I want one. Like, I really want one. And I'm not sure how, but I know I will. Just please like and subscribe.